Thank you for clicking on the video. Welcome back to the channel. This is another review for American Horror Story NYC, Season 11, Episode 6, The Body. We are trying to play catch up. I don't like when they release these episodes, 2 episodes at a time. It's like, come on. Do not flood me, okay? Don't flood me with 2 episodes at once and then I gotta sit up and play catch up because I am now, well, now we're 2 episodes behind. We ain't gonna let it get to 4 because they're gonna drop 2 more come Wednesday. So hopefully I can get episodes 7 and 8 watched before Wednesday. That means at some point today or tomorrow, I gotta get the notes. So anyway, let's get into the review. So Fire Island, 1981. 2 guys, they on the beach kissing down. Okay. One of them thinks he gets bit by something, but instead he was scratched. They start digging around and they dig up the skeletal remains of somebody's son. And he's wearing a black leather mask. Anyway, so hold that, put a pin there. Patrick and Gino, they are, at the clinic where Hannah works, and they want to know about the blood samples that she took. They want to know what she found, all of that. Of course, she's refusing because, everything is confidential. She's protected by, patient confidentiality. And she says that her research is also confidential. Gino, he starts on this guilt trip, about her letting the killer get away with it, with her not helping them out in their little investigation. Because she's like, is this an official investigation? Do y'all have a warrant? Like, come back with a warrant and I'm going to help. She wants to help by all means, but y'all going to have to come back with a warrant. She sees that there's a lesion, kind of growing on Gino's arm, and she tells him, listen, you're going to have somebody look at that. I've seen that before. You're going to have somebody look at that. Are you kidding me? Patrick goes to work, and his peers are just staring at him. Everybody's like, everybody done heard about Patrick coming out. And so they in there gossiping and talking about him, basically. His partner, he already got word that he been down at the clinic showing people the sketch or whatever, asking questions. And his partner warns him about, going down there and talking to the people, because it just implies that somebody within the clinic is the killer. And I'm assuming somebody made some phone calls. Patrick say he can't be concerned with that. He tells him that he needs to go back to his desk and, continue on with your little gay jokes. Don't come over here trying to check me. Bye. Patrick gets this call at his desk, and it's from this guy, from the guys that found that dead body. And they're like, we got your number from a friend of a friend. We heard that you could help because you one of us. And, immediately he gonna go help. They tell him that they found this body in a leather mask. He quickly hangs up the phone. Then Sam gets a call, and it's from Patrick. And Patrick is like, we have a problem. I said, we? So y'all in cahoots. Y'all done did some dirt together. Okay. He tells him that the police found the body on Fire Island. So now they're both spooked. Then we see Henry. He meets this man at the park. And the man is more, is concerned about Gino and stirring up all this noise, all this stuff he's writing in the paper or whatever. And he's like, the boss wants you to shut him up. So Henry a hitman. He say, make him disappear. Make sure he's, written his last article. The last article. So Now Gino got a hit out on him. Patrick, he's at home packing a bag. He's headed to Fire Island. Gino comes in confused because why they calling you? That ain't your jurisdiction. And he gonna say, well, since I'm the only gay cop, I'm the only cop gay enough to care about what's going on. And so he's gonna go. Gino wants to go with him, but of course Patrick is like, no. Gino is starting to get a little suspicious because it's obvious he's trying to, stop him from coming. And he flat out asked him, are you fucking somebody else? Patrick don't answer the question, He say, I ain't finna dignify that with a response. When he leaves, Gino follows him and sees him get in the car with Sam. So now, of course, his suspicions are worse. It's getting worse. The pressure is getting worse. Anyway, Gino, he heads back inside because he gonna pack a bag and he gonna catch up to him. And Henry is in his living room waiting on him. Henry pull out a gun and tells him, listen, the powers that be done sent me around here to take care of you, and I'm trying not to do that. Like, you could just disappear. He's their hitman, of course, like I said. And he said the bosses are upset with your stories. It's affecting their bottom line. And they want the stories to stop, or else I'm going to have to, do what I do. Gino tells him that he's only helping the killer by doing that, by shutting him up. And Henry is like, listen, enough of all you. Listen, you need to let that hurt go. I know he kidnapped you. I know he was about to torture you and he been out here killing, the rest of us, but you're going to have to let that hurt go. Gino tells him that they found a body on Fire Island. And Henry is like, Fire Island? Okay. Patrick and Sam, they go and meet the guys on Fire Island, and Sam does all the talking. He tells them, go ahead and leave. We got it from here. They looking like, can we see a badge? Like, what are your credentials? But he all but threatens their life, if they talk to anybody about it. So leave and don't say nothing to nobody. Sam and Patrick, they go inside the villa. This is Sam's property, by the way. But they go inside, he walking around glad to be back in his old stomping grounds. And he said, I just never felt so relaxed here. This is my spot. It's my place. Patrick says that was the drugs. So they was drugging together. We gonna see. Just hold that thought. Patrick, starts thinking about what they did. And Sam is like, what would possess us to bury somebody in sand? And Patrick is like, again, the drugs. And so we see Patrick and Sam, they go out there and they dig up the rest of the body. And then they're interrupted by Henry and Gino. And the jig is up. They caught. Patrick, he tries to dismiss it, saying it was just an accident or whatever. And then we see what really happened. Henry, Sam, and Patrick have a shared criminal history. Patrick finally comes clean. He met Sam, on his first night on Fire Island back in the day when he was still married to Barb. And he was on that island getting loose, though. He used to go to the island and go get loose. He on the dance floor doing drugs, kissing folk, having threesomes, you name it. He was having himself a time. He just met Sam fresh off the ferry. Sam just scooped him up fresh off the ferry like, hey, you, come on, we having a party. Come on around here to the party. This was back in 79. Sam takes them, down to his little sex dungeon. He got him. It's Sam, this little boy, and Patrick. The boy probably like 20, maybe 19. He's young. He's young. Patrick gets down there, and now he's introduced to the BDSM life. He's the whips and chains, the leather lifestyle. He's introduced to that. There's this, like, I don't know what you would call it. It's not a guillotine because there's no blade to come down and chop your head off, but it's one of them little things where you stick your head in it and then your arms be up like that. I don't know what it's called, but it's just sitting in the living room. And Sam wants one of them to volunteer to get in it. And so Billy is the boy's name. Billy volunteers. And so Sam goes and pulls out this leather mask from the closet, and Billy puts it on Billy, and Billy gets in the thing. And I say, psh, I would have needed to make sure I can breathe, like breathe. And you can't breathe in that. What you call it? What's this man's name? Sam. He starts kissing all on Patrick. You know, they kissing up and filling up and rubbing up, doing the drugs. They done started having sex. They doing all the cocaine. All the cocaine. Patrick, and they just got the boy bent over. They just both having a turn. They each have a turn. Back to the drugs. Okay, we back over here to some bussy. Like, both of them tag teaming poor little Billy. While Patrick is in mid-stroke, Sam notices that Billy is kind of limp. You know, like he's gone limp. And it's clear that he's dead. He is dead. They pull him out of there. He blew. They try to give him CPR, but to no avail. He's dead. Sam is like, I know somebody that can help. He's one of them. He said that he's one of us. They call him the Velvet Touch. I said, not the Velvet Touch. He a killer. He a hitman is what he is. Henry show up and says that it's gonna cost them $10,000. You know, he says my associate is gonna come and he gonna help us dispose of the body. This associate is Mr. Whiteley, so Mr. Whiteley know what's up as well. Mr. Whiteley is also involved with the mob and the hitman and all of that. He's just used to coming in and cutting up the bodies. So when he gets there, he's like, well, so what happened here? Like, I'm used to cutting up bad guys, but this kid, what happened to him? He looked like he one of us. Henry slaps him, you know, for even questioning him. Just get the work done, or I'm gonna call your mama and tell her that you like boys. He said, won't be needing to do none of that. Ain't no need in calling my mama in this. I'll be calling my mama. Mr. Whiteley folds Billy up into the rug and, you know, lays out all his plastic. It's giving Huck and B613, you know, really getting his kill room together. And then he proceeds to just dismember this man's body. And, you know, it's just so cavalier about it. Almost like, you know, methodical. Like he's having a whole good time about it. Crazy self. Afterwards, Mr. Whiteley just sitting there staring and, you know, looked like he's admiring his work. And he done chopped this boy up, talking about how beautiful he was. Anyway, Patrick, he's finished, you know, telling his story. And Gino putting it all together, whatever. Patrick wants Gino, listen, just go home and forget what you saw. Just go home. Henry more concerned with him writing another piece about it. He more concerned about him going back to that job and writing another story about it he called it his fag rag. I said, not the fag rag. That was not necessary, Henry. Like, you had to take it there. Anyway, Gino, he goes over to the body and he starts, you know, chipping in, doing his part. Because, listen, he in it at this point. What else he gonna do? He said, I can't call the police on your ass now that you involved because you my man. So, yeah, I'm gonna get in and help. He looking at the bones, Patrick, and he notices how precise the cuts are. You know, it's like, this look familiar. Like somebody knew what to do with this. Is a clean cut. He says, so the guy, the guy that cut him up, about him. Tell me about him again. Because he said the Monty killer cuts up his bodies in the very same way. Henry kind of scoffs at him, you know, like you barking up the wrong tree. It ain't him. Henry, you know it's him. You know it's him. Henry want to know, you know, like why we're going down this road, why we're even doing all of this. Like you can't just be throwing accusations out there like that, you know, especially when it involves the mob. And Henry says that Mr. Whiteley is, you know, just all he knows about him is he's a nurse. That's all he know. But he, you know, works for the mob as well. So you just can't be out there just throwing out there that somebody that they're affiliated with is a whole serial killer. That's what Henry's trying. That's the message Henry's trying to convey. Gino say I can ID him if I see him. So take me round there. Let's go round there to where he at. So they go round there to go try to find Mr. Whiteley. Henry, he's calling Mr. Whiteley on the line, and of course he answers the phone, you know, all normal. He's sitting there, he's still chopping up them boys. I think he done cut the boy, you know, Think he done cut them boys up by now. But he answers the phone, and Henry tells him, I got another job for you. And Mr. Whiteley says it's kind of a bad time right now. And Henry is like, well, you know, you really ain't got no choice. It's a big mess the boss needs cleaning up. And Henry again reminds him, we don't have a choice in this, so you gonna do it. Mr. Whiteley says, okay, what's the location? Then Henry is like, this is a disclosed location. Like, I can't really tell you. Like, I can't tell you that over the phone. He says, I'm gonna pick you up. And just send me your address. And then Mr. Whiteley is like, oh, I'm going to be out and about. They both was going back and forth. They both know that they're trying to set, you know, the other one up. And Mr. Whiteley says he'll be out and about. Just meet me down at the bar about 9 p.m. So that's where they going to meet. When they hang up, Henry is like, he on to us. He already know, change of plans. When we get there, we going to lure him into the meeting place, and then we gonna ambush him. That's what's gonna happen. Henry say he gonna do the deed. He just needs to get him alone. Gino, he's kind of apprehensive, you know, but Henry insists, you know, that tonight Mr. Whiteley gonna meet his demise. He gonna die tonight. Today he gonna die. They pull up to the spot. Gino, he's supposed to lay down in the back with his finger on the trigger, ready, on go, you know, on ready. He said, I'm going to be back in 5 minutes. Henry goes inside. Mr. Whiteley's in there waiting on him. And he's like, oh, have a drink. Let's catch up for a minute before we go do what we finna do. Have a drink. He slide a Mai Tai over to him. And Henry already know what's up, looking at him like, I'll take a hen and Coke. I order my own drink. Thanks. Mr. Whiteley, he want to know, you know, what the job is. And Henry says, you know, really it's none of our business. So I can't really tell you that. And he says we should get going. Mr. Whiteley is like, okay, I'm let me go to the bathroom first before we leave. When he heads to the bathroom, Henry, you know, waits a second, but then he goes to follow him to the bathroom. Got his gun out, looking through the stalls or whatever, and then Mr. Whiteley just jumps out of nowhere and drugs him. He dragged him out the front door all drugged up. The people looking like, what's going on? He like, I think my friend had too much to drink. I'm going to go on and take him on home. Gino, because he in the car, he watches Henry get placed into the car or whatever and get taken back to Mr. Whiteley's place. Gino follows them, and he's like parked near a payphone, and he gets out and calls Patrick to get Patrick down there to help. He like, listen, the Mai Tai killer got Henry. Come quick, come now. So we'll see what happens in episode 7. That was the end. I like that the momentum has picked up, because at first I was like, what are we doing? Because y'all have introduced us to this whole theory with the deer and all of that, and we ain't went back there yet. You know, you got Hannah doing blood samples and all of that, but that y'all not really diving deep with that aspect of it all. So far, the only thing that has, you know, started to make sense is them sharing that shared criminal history has a lot to do with Big Daddy, the Leatherman, you know, like the omen of him just following them around because of what they did. You know, it's kind of like they're being haunted. Sam specifically. I don't know, but Patrick as well. Because he sees them too. So we'll see what happens, but I do like that we finally got us a little shift in the atmosphere, you know. Excuse me. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's Call Me Busby, and I'll chat with you later. Peace and light.